More tools can confuse AI agents. When several tools have similar purposes and overlapping boundaries, the agent has to guess which one to call. A richer-looking toolbox can create wrong calls, wasted turns, and avoidable retries. Anthropic's tool design guidance makes the point directly: more tools do not always improve results. A small set of clear, high-impact workflow tools is often more effective. This episode turns that guidance into an AI agent tool specification checklist. You can use it to review purpose, inputs, outputs, recovery, and evaluation before a tool reaches production. This video is packed with practical value to help you get better at using AI. It is a longer one, so follow and save it for later. First, identify the workflow the agent actually needs to complete instead of wrapping every API endpoint as a separate tool. Traditional software celebrates feature coverage, but an agent has limited attention. Every similar option adds another comparison and another chance to choose poorly. Anthropic recommends starting with a few high-impact tools that complete meaningful jobs, then watching real tasks to discover what the agent still lacks. A Create Project workflow tool can find members, create the workspace, and apply default fields internally. The agent should not have to assemble a long chain of low-level calls every time. This does not mean making every tool enormous. The result must remain verifiable, failure must remain recoverable, and risky actions still need explicit confirmation. Use one practical test. Does this tool reduce choice cost while preserving the control and evidence required to complete the job? If two tools are triggered by the same requests again and again, merge the workflow or redraw their responsibilities instead of patching the confusion with a longer prompt. Chapter Recap. First, tool count is not the same as capability. Second, package complete and common workflows. Third, merge overlapping tools or redraw the boundary. Second, make the tool name, purpose, and usage conditions form a clear boundary so the agent does not have to guess. Names should express both action and object, such as search customers, read orders, or update tasks. Vague verbs like process, execute, and manage hide the decision. Namespaces can reveal service boundaries, but prefixes, suffixes, and grouping also influence selection. Evaluate their effect instead of assuming a tidy taxonomy is automatically clear. A description should read like onboarding for a new teammate: when to use the tool, when not to use it, what inputs it needs, what it returns, and how to recover from failure. Inputs should use natural, stable identifiers. If a project name or ticket number is enough, do not force the agent to discover an opaque internal database ID first. Required fields, defaults, and mutually exclusive options must be explicit. Parameters that change permissions or create external effects need an even clearer confirmation boundary. The best specification is not the longest one. It removes ambiguity between neighboring tools and turns important constraints into things you can test. Chapter Recap. First, names should reveal both action and object. Second, descriptions must define use and non-use conditions. Third, inputs should be natural, stable, and verifiable. Third, control the response so the agent receives the signal needed for a decision, not a page of system noise. Return key fields, human-readable names, and identifiers needed for the next step. Avoid dumping internal structures that are difficult to read or connect. When a result can be large, support filtering, sorting, pagination, and truncation. Let the agent retrieve the most relevant slice first and continue only when necessary. The same tool can offer concise and detailed response formats. Use concise output for the normal decision path, and request detail for auditing or debugging. Keep traceability in the response through a stable task number, source link, or updated timestamp, so later actions can return to the same object. Do not return a field merely because it exists. Irrelevant metadata consumes context and can bury the status that actually matters. Design every output as input to the next reasoning step. Each field should help the agent choose, verify, or continue an action. Chapter Recap. First, return high-signal fields instead of a full dump. Second, large results need filters and pagination. Third, default to concise output and open detail on demand. Fourth, optimize token efficiency and recovery together, because failed calls consume context too. Repeated fields, verbose wrappers, and irrelevant logs can fill the window quickly. Simplifying the response structure is often more direct than squeezing the prompt again. An error cannot stop at failed. It should explain what happened, which input caused the problem, and what legal action the agent can try next. If a project name is missing, return a few close candidates. If permission is insufficient, identify the required permission and the safest next step. Distinguish retriable failures from permanent ones, so the agent does not repeat the same deterministic mistake in a loop. For high-risk writes, return the object and scope that will change, and preserve an explicit confirmation point before execution. Study the real trajectories that waste the most tokens. Redundant search, repeated reading, and empty retries usually reveal a gap in the tool specification. Chapter Recap. First, remove irrelevant fields and repeated wrappers. Second, errors must offer an actionable recovery path. Third, use call trajectories to find specification gaps. Fifth, iterate with realistic evaluations instead of checking only whether the endpoint can be called. Create tasks that resemble real work and cover the normal path, ambiguous requests, missing inputs, permission limits, and boundary failures. Every task needs a verifiable outcome, such as final system state, a generated file, a database change, or a clearly correct read-only answer. Track accuracy, runtime, tool call count, token use, and error type together. A single polished demonstration cannot reveal a reliable tool. Hold back part of the task set. After every change to the description or parameters, use unseen tasks to check that the specification did not overfit. Anthropic also suggests using agents to analyze failed trajectories and propose specification changes, followed by human review and another evaluation run. Bring purpose and boundary, inputs and naming, output and context, and evaluation and iteration into one specification so every decision remains reviewable. Screenshot this AI agent tool specification checklist and use it on your own tools. Chapter recap. First, evaluation tasks should resemble real work. Second, record outcomes, cost, and errors together. Third, retest every specification change on a held-out set. In short, agents do not fail only because they lack tools. They often fail because tools overlap, responses carry too much noise, or errors offer no recovery path. Start with critical workflows, make names and boundaries explicit, control return context, and keep evaluating on real tasks. This checklist is a practical synthesis of Anthropic's article, not an official template. The right names, groups, and tool size still depend on evidence from your own tasks. Which tools does your AI agent confuse most often? Tell me in the comments, and share how you draw the boundary. Follow Tiny Agent. Tiny Agent helps you get better at using AI.